Hi all. Right, welcome back. Match in Kharkov, German Solo Part 9. Um, okay, so about to move on to. That's our impulse, isn't it? I've got 3 cards left in my hand. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's our impulse. I think it was the pop-off units that activated last time, wasn't it? With the Southwestern Front card. We also played a card, didn't we? We played a screen card, so that's why we've only got 3 cards. Right, okay. Yeah. I might just double check, pause and just double check the end of the video just to make sure. Well, I'll do that in a sec. Still haven't had any response from a question, so which is a bit odd. My thinking being that maybe the guys are thinking that Mr. Butterfield himself does need to answer that one, and they don't want to sort of voice an opinion one way or another. It could be other things, I suppose. They might think it's a daft question, doesn't warrant a response. Just go by the rules, Grant, get on that. Well, I'm going to have to do that now, I think. Well, I'll carry out my impulse, but as soon as something interferes with these units, I'm going to have to, because they've got to advance after combat, both of them. They've got a 1 hex advance, and they're in the right hex that they should be in. These are all in the right hex, going by how I read it in the rules, and so are these. So, and the wee cubes were only to decide if there should be some alteration to that. But we'll maybe just have to go by the rules for now until we do find out something for certain, and then I'll not be able to rewind this stuff. Probably I'll just leave it. Just notice the errata, the latest errata from this last month, August, it was dated, I think, has now been posted up in BGG. And also Martin had compiled a list of questions for John Butterfield, and he's released that as I think it's maybe 3 or 4 pages. It's a bunch of questions that he's compiled from, maybe some from my playthrough, some from his own game experience, maybe some things that have cropped up. So well worth having a look at that. I will get all these printed out when I get my printer dragged up the stairs. So yeah, well done, Martin, good for that. And thanks to John as well for taking the time to sort these questions out. They were just from, I think all the questions were based on Soviet solo games, so no doubt he'll get a bunch more for the German solo once Martin's been through and looked at that and whatever. And right, yeah, I've got a mistake to talk about that, and this is going to be the first one that I can't fix, or I'm saying I'm choosing not to. It'd be too much to fix. And a bit annoyed after seeing it. I kind of wish Michael, it was the error that Michael had brought up. I kind of wish he had maybe clicked and thought, yeah, okay, it won't apply there, Grant, but it might apply, because I never thought about it as well. I just kind of went over my head, but not that I'm expecting you to look out for me completely, Michael. I do need to deal with these things myself. So yeah, it was John Brown, and it was regarding the overwhelming attack on the pop-off units, and the fact that we only needed to place 1 reserve to get an overwhelming attack. And of course, I carried on and placed the 2nd reserve, not thinking about it, not checking that it was overwhelming there still. I'm starting to wonder if any of that was in. I don't think you checked. I know you checked once for overwhelming attack. I don't think you checked at different times throughout the combat sequence. I could be wrong with that, but I think that's something that was new. However, when you were placing reserves and had to check for overwhelming attack, I'm not even that sure. I did want to get out the rulebook and see. You know what? I should. Okay, just had a quick look at the Allied solo rules for Match in Ardennes. And yeah, it wasn't. In fact, I also noticed that you actually drew the combat tactic before you added reserves into the combat. So that's changed as well, and whether that had anything to do with the overwhelming attack bit, because now you add reserves first, then draw a combat tactic. However, the mention overwhelming attack is only in the first step when you draw. You wouldn't draw a combat tactic if you had overwhelming odds, if you had an overwhelming attack. However, it doesn't mention that you wouldn't add reserves if you had an overwhelming attack. So they obviously took that and changed that up quite a bit to make it better. I think, because you're checking it. Well, now you're checking it for reserves, but you've got to watch. If you've got 3 or 4 reserves, make sure you check them individually and then check the odds again, or you get caught out like me. And then you would check to see if you draw a combat tactic, and then you would, after drawing the combat tactic, you would then check to see if you used the auxiliary card. So you're checking it 3 times, and then also multiple times as you're placing reserves in. After every reserve that you place, so yeah, I think it's much better. That makes it much more fun, and it seems to make sense as well. Because I think you could have situations where some of the combats were a bit daft. So right, anyway, So where was the other error? So yeah, I'm not blaming you as well, Michael. You were the one that brought it up, pointed it out to me. So I'm not saying you should be telling me, because we had another combat check and it was against the unit that was in Slavansk at the time. So you can see, I can't really go back and change this, and what it was John Brown that picked it up, and like I say, he said he wouldn't have noticed that himself. Admittedly, he's maybe not up with the rules on the German solo, he's more into Soviet solo rules yet, but he did say, because I was asking if any of the rest of you would have picked that one up, because I would have missed. I wouldn't have. So, but anyway, what John did notice was that the reserve that wasn't placed. Right, sorry, I keep getting interrupted here. So and John noticed that the reserve that wouldn't have got placed would have actually counted to the combat check on the unit that was in Slavansk, and I had a look, and yes, the odds would have been I think the odds were no, hang on. I would have went through a tactic value. Tactic value? Is that the thing? Something like that. Tactical value. Yeah, tactical value. I'm going through, I think I'll look through it, and I thought, I was kind of hoping that it might not get to 7, and it did. So it would have actually been involved and conducted a combat up here. Thanks for bringing it up though, John, because it's just one I can't go back now. I'll always say that the Germans played that event to knock us out of Slavansk and take the victory points anyway, but yeah, who knows what would have happened there. It's one of the ones that's gone too far ahead and I can't do nothing about it, but I was annoyed I didn't think about that though. It was, okay, the reserve's not used there. I should have thought to myself, right, is there another combat to come? And there ended up, I don't think there actually was another combat. It was a combat check that failed, but would have succeeded and would have turned into a combat. So, yeah, anyway. I would just need to let that one go, I'm afraid. Okay, right, I had a look at the end of that video, and it is indeed our impulse. Just to double check. So what are we going to do? Okay, so there's our last 3 cards in our hand. You're starting to see some other things coming down here now with the second SS. There's still plenty of space here for me to put the camera up, like I say, once if things start to move down here, then I might need to make some adjustments, but I think that'll be a wee while away yet. So we've got core rouse. Now we decided we didn't really need, we've got all the core rouse units outside the artillery barrage zone. We didn't really want to do anything with them. They're all holding reasonably good positions, and I think the fact that it's got engineers on it probably do that. 40 Panzer Corps card again, I don't know, we're just kind of waiting with that, I suppose. just to see. It looks like Popov's moved that way though, so there's not much. We've only got the first guards along here. So, yeah, Popov's kind of threatening in here, really, isn't it? And threatening these third core units. Now, that's obviously the other card we've got, and it would remove the disperse marker from this in danger unit. So yeah, my thinking was probably to activate the third core, but you know what? Maybe I'm better using engineers. Although I wouldn't be able to build an IP on that guy. I don't think you can build on dispersed units. I mean, what am I going to... I suppose getting them out of the barrage zone. Maybe even getting these two round a little bit. That makes some sense, doesn't it? And then is that guy not a third core unit as well? He is, yeah. Well, that's a bit of a shame, because I probably would have brought him around as well. But at least I'll get the disperse marker off of him, although I don't feel like he's in any danger, really. Well, he might be in a bit more danger if we decide to move these two round a little bit. So, there is that. Yeah, I think it would be better activating the third core before I do the engineers event, and then we'll just keep this card till the end, I think. Hopefully keep it for the last impulse of the turn, because we can then pass. If we've got one card in hand and no cards left in our draw pile, we can pass. So we could keep passing until the Soviets run out of cards, maybe, and then have the last impulse to ourselves, so that we know that nothing dangerous is going to happen after that. I think we can do that anyway. I think that's within the law. We will double check. Okay, so yeah, because if I do the third core units first, I might have them in a position where one of them might be a target for the IP from the engineers event. So yeah, okay, right. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with them, but well, you did just speak about maybe moving them out of the barrage zone to start with, Grant. So that's a start at least. Right. Okay. I'll get the camera up closer and we'll have a look. Yeah, I think this is the right time to be playing this as well, because like I say, this dispersed unit here, I'll be undispersed, and he's in a nice wee position across the Donets River. Now, I had a comment from Eric, it was. He had me wondering a little bit myself, but now it's better just looking at this in the player aid. He was suggesting that I shouldn't have been able to retreat across the Donets River. Was that? Yeah, I must have moved from there and retreated across, was it? Is that what happened? Was that the guy that was in there? Or was it? I think it. Unless he came from that side, maybe. Anyway, wherever it was, and he was saying, I think he was getting the impression that it had to be light mud for me to be able to do that. But that's certainly not how I read that at first. And I still believe that I do have that right, because I'm pretty sure I've done it already and nobody else has said something. Yeah, it says retreat into enemy VP hex prohibited. Retreat allowed across unbridged Dnieper River and Donets River in light mud. And the at Donets River in light mud is in brackets. Only if no other hex available in that priority. So that, I mean, I just assumed that meant that I could retreat across the Donets River unless it was light mud, and I would still be able to do it if it was no other hex available. That's how I read it, but I think Eric was reading it differently and the other way about, thinking. But then I don't think that really makes sense. Like I commented back to him, to actually move across the Donets River when you're in light mud, it adds an extra movement point. So I mean, my guess is that it's going to be harder to get across the river in the light mud, and I'm assuming that's why it's making it a bit more restrictive when you're even retreating across. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, unless somebody else comes along and tells me otherwise, I feel okay about that. I think. Yeah, so like I say, once he's undispersed and he's in that position, he's got a bit more freedom because most of the units are. I'm not going to get a unit up behind probably, so they're all going to be coming across the river, which it lets me reduce a hit, so that's a good one too. But having the disperse marker, we'd rather not have that. Okay, so you've got this unit here is dispersed, so all they're going to do is remove their dispersal. So I am going to activate units in third corps. Okay, so there's all my units active. I'm going to stick by this system, John Brown's. I think it's okay, yeah. I was forgetting a little bit at times, but you're used to what you're doing, so I might still, forget. So yeah, so 3 units I can do something like that, so maybe no point doing them. All they can do is remove their dispersal, but that's fair enough. So I think we want to move these 2. Yeah, do we not want to move that guy as well though? I was thinking he might just stay there and build an IP, but it makes more sense getting him out of the barrage zone, doesn't it? Yeah, and that dispersal's going to come off, and he's going to be a 4 strength unit. Possibly, maybe stack them. Well, we want to make sure we're keeping a line as well, though. Well, there's that tricky bit about keeping a line, but also want to be in adjacent to a defender, and also thinking, well, I could do with stacking as well. Mind you, we've not got units cards like the Soviets, have we? We've got Kampfgruppe cards. So spreading out a little bit, or being adjacent to each other, is probably more beneficial than being stacked. I mean, okay, obviously when it comes down to, you've got a 1 or 2 strength unit on his own, you maybe want to like boost him up a bit by stacking something. Well, so you've got all the things to decide for yourself, I suppose. Okay. Right, let me think what I'm going to do with these 3 units then. Right, I think I'm going to move this guy, breaking zone of control, 1, 2 into there, 3, 4, and then, 5, 6. Is that clever? No, he was there, so let me think about. Let's come back a little bit, Grant. And then I was thinking about maybe bringing him. If I brought him adjacent, and then, this guy I thought maybe just back into there, to be honest. And then this guy could come adjacent to this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't get anybody in there. This is a reasonable position because that means they're coming across. Well, it doesn't matter though. If these both units attack, then I don't get the benefit of them coming across the Donets. The Dnieper River, I think, halves their. Does it not half their strength when they're attacking across it? But the Donets River doesn't do that. The only benefit you get if all the units are attacking across the Donets. Like I said, in the position this guy's in, he'll probably get that benefit if they decide to go that way. So, I mean, the other thought was I could put this unit up into Kramatorsk. I think these units sitting in front of it are fine. I do have to watch that move if they get adjacent. Remember though, keep that in mind that they can do that urban infiltration. So I do need to worry about that one. Or I wonder if we should just move back to the crossroads with this guy. No, I think we're having that. The chit defender adjacent. You just showed that last combat we had how strong a chit that is for us. It was an A-1 and an A-1 and a D1. Sorry, other way about. D-1 and an A1, so a hit to them and a reduction of a hit to yourself. So it's a strong chit. It's about the strongest one we've got going. We should probably think about it more. So if I went one and just tucked him in beside Ham, I suppose I could go in there, but that's possibly, yeah, I think it's better in there. So are we going to go with that then and just put that guy there? I mean, it means there's no gap. However, yeah, if I did move him further back, then there would be a gap. So I don't want to do that. I want him outside the artillery barrage zone. Yeah. I mean, it's either that or I move further back, but I don't want to like just bail out of Kramatorsk. You know. I don't know though. I don't know. Again, once I've played this game once, I'll maybe have some ideas about how to play it the next time. Same with the Soviet. So, well, yeah, I've definitely got some thoughts on that one. 21 victory points. Just remember that come turn, what was it, 8? Make sure you've got that. That's my tip. So you're going to go with that, Grant? Yeah, because if I bring them back further, you know, if I bring them back towards here, it's just meaning the Soviets are going to move quicker against us, isn't it? You know, I think I should just hold my line, and I mean, once they maybe make a break in the line, then I've got to either fill the gap up, or possibly retreat to a victory point town and protect it. But at the moment, you know, I know this is one of the strongest armies they've got, so I'm, you know, the other possibility here is, should I maybe not stack them up? And maybe that's more beneficial. Yeah, maybe that should be my thinking. Maybe I should just have them both stacked. Well, I don't want to both stack them in there, but I could have them both stacked in there. Because if I stack them in there, I've got this gap, unless I move this unit away from the adjacency of Ham, which I don't like either. I think I'm going to take my chances with this, and we'll see how it goes. And then, I mean, obviously, if I've got 8 strength in there, the likelihood of them getting an attack, it's going to be a lot less, isn't it, than having 4 strength. I mean, they're going to be able to get, what, 11, 14, possibly 18 to 4. But I mean, if it was 18 to 8, that's 2 to 1. I mean, they still might go ahead with that attack, admittedly. But I don't know if I want to try and sort of keep it more like that. I mean, 18 to 4 is obviously 4 to 1, so that would definitely go ahead. And, you know, maybe I'm feeling like enticing them into that combat. I don't know what the bit. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to leave it like that. Like I say, I'll learn from my mistakes, hopefully. Okay, so there's the 3 units moved, and then all that's going to happen is these are, so I can't place any IPs, and then end of turn, these 2 disperse markers are going to drop off, which is good. Yeah, and that's my impulse over. Okay, right, well, no more cards to draw. Right, I'll tidy up the chits just now, the units, and that card's gone. We've got 2 cards left. Let's say we can pass only when we've got 1 card left and no cards on a drop out. So, yeah, okay. Right, I'll move on to a Soviet impulse now. It could well be the time now where I've got to advance these units. But we'll see. Well, I'll draw the card and see. And you never know. It might be over here. We've not had the 40th army activation yet. So, okay. Right, I'll tidy that up and we'll get ready to get the next Soviet impulse going. Okay, let's get the next Soviet Impulse underway. So, draw 2 cards. Oh, I've got Popov who just activated. Oh gosh, right, and third tank. Okay, well this could get messy. Right, they're both primary cards. They've both got a command value of 3. The third tank is the lowest ID number with 13, and Mobile Group Popov is a 17. So, yeah, that's going to shuffle back in though, isn't it? Yeah, they're going to get around to that. So yeah, the event is on the Popov card is command delay. And as we know, as long as we've got 4 cards, which I'm pretty sure we still do have. This card is currently a card, and there are 4 or more cards in the Soviet draw pile. Return this card to the draw pile and shuffle. Yeah. Nah. Well, I'm going to keep them in my hand this time because I'm going to shuffle them just to check. We've got 5 cards in draw pile, so this is indeed going to shuffle back in again. Yeah, they've all got that event, haven't they? That's between turns 1 and 4, right enough. Turn 5 they would maybe do the support marker. Okay. Okay, so 6 cards back in their draw pile, but at least there's no auxiliary card for any combats that are going to occur here. Right, so we're going to activate all units in third tank. So I am going to have to sort this unit out now. The one that was waiting to advance after combat has been waiting for a long time. Right, okay, so we're going to have to sort this guy out now anyway. I can possibly leave the other one just in case. So the combat was in this hex. This guy retreated only once we fixed an error. What was that error? Drew too many chits or something as well, again. Can't remember exactly. So I'm going to have to take this cube away because this is where we thought some of these units might have been attacking the unit from this hex, but I'm just going to have to go by the rules. The rules, as I read them, would have ended all 3 units in that hex, which seems odd. So, but if we move it now and then we find out later that yeah, it's probably going to get changed the word, and then we can just go from there. And then any of these moves, I'm just going to have to leave behind. But who knows? It might be that it is intended. It is quite possible. Right, so they're only going to advance 1 hex. The first that applies, VP hex, no. And we're doing this in, we've got 4, 6, yeah, so they are in ascending order there. I'll leave them that way around because I need to get used to the fact that it's not really, yeah, it's fine. So VP hex, no. Primary direction, no. It's not got any directional arrow into that hex at all. Hex enabling supply, no. Crossover and closer objective, no. Seconded direction, no. If advancing second hex, retreat path, it's not advancing second hex, no. So looking at the next set of instructions, causes surround, no. Actually it will. It doesn't matter. It's going to be attacked hex anyway. This is the attacked hex. So it is going to come into one of them. I think that hex is going to surround this guy, innit? That's why we're wondering about, because this hex would surround them. Yeah. So that will surround that unit. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh well. Nothing we can do about it. Right, so, however, it is a dice roll, so he's going to advance into that hex on a 1 to 7, so quite a high chance. He's rolled a 9, okay. So he's not, but however, he's got 2 other buddies underneath that might, so... Unit number 6, who's also mechanised on a 1 to 7. He's rolled a 9 as well. Right then, so the infantry... underneath. This could be a good result for us if they don't advance at all. Mind you, they're just about to activate, aren't they? Right, so 1 to 7 with infantry. Oh, 7. Just. Right, so that's what would have happened. He would have advanced into there. And then we would reset these guys. Now there was just the 1 advance. So that's what would have happened. So we're just going to have to go with that now. Okay, so moving on. We're going to activate third tank. So then it's the whole activation of the whole army. They're kind of scattered about quite a bit. 2, 3 infantry units at the back here, there's infantry there. These mechanised units, these pretty strong force, only one sort of one-step unit anyway. Okay, so checking their objective marker first. It's in here, isn't it? Yeah. So, cause there's a unit in it, I think that means we've got to be adjacent then, doesn't it? Because the other one is proximate to the actual hex. Unless it's proximate to the unit, does that count? I don't think it does. Where are we? Where are we? If any unit in active front occupies the hex, no, or is proximate to unoccupied hex, or is adjacent to German occupied markers hex. Yeah, so it's not, even if we get even if we're proximate to the unit, that doesn't count either. So we've either, while there's a unit in there, in fact, while there's a unit in there, the only way to do it is to get adjacent to that hex. That's the only way to move it while he's there. Because we can't be proximate to the hex, and we can't obviously have a unit in the hex while he's there. Right, so it's staying where it is, anyway. Okay, let's move on. So, move active units. Take a VP hex in descending order. Right, there's not any VP hexes to just stroll into. No, actually, we do have Volchansk here. So this is the closest sort of one that's vacant. But there's no gap there for these units to come through. There's no gap here. You know, there's no gaps at all. So there's nothing can get through to Volchansk. Nothing can get adjacent to it, never mind enter that. So, and take it. So okay. And then second one, and the reason, that's what I was saying about being adjacent as well, because second one is adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. Well, like I say, nothing can get through to here. Nothing can get through to here. And that's really about that, isn't it? I mean, they are the closest VP hexes that are available. Because they took Slavansk up here, and what else have took Izium now as well, haven't they? Yeah. So the other ones that these guys are heading for are down here. So no gaps, nothing to get. Yeah, there's no gap there, Grant. We've said that, right? Yeah, okay. So, what was the other one that I should have checked there, though? Oh, this is me reading off the player aid now, and I was getting quite comfortable with the rule book, and right now I don't know where I am. Right, there, Yeah, we would move to a map edge VP hex as well, right? Not that, and then move to hex closer. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm looking for there. I'm thinking about something that's not there. Okay, so we can't move adjacent to a German VP hex and near objective marker, but I don't think we can even move adjacent to German VP hex, because I think that comes up further on, doesn't it? So, and then movement method 3 is open supply line. That doesn't start till turn 3. Now movement methods 4 to 9 don't apply to Soviet spearhead armies, and that's 3rd tank and mobile group Popov, unless they're in a town or city. So none of them are in towns or cities, are they? No. So none of them are going to activate between movement methods 4 to 9. Yeah, that's right. So we move straight to movement method 10 then. Well, it says follow movement arrows in ascending order. So maybe some of the infantry at the back might get this movement method working, but so where's the lowest unit? We've got a 1 there, haven't we? Yeah, there's a 1. So with arrows, he would be going 1 into here, 2. No, sorry. Got a German unit here, haven't we, Grant? Yeah, so he would be going 1 into there and stopping. He does have a second arrow. He could go 1 into there and stop. So he's not going to move. Remember, you've got to spend all his movement. Unit 3 is going to be something similar. He cannot move from zone of control to zone of control anyway, so he's not moving. Unit 4 on here would just be moving into here, so that's not any good. Unit 6 is underneath. He'd be the same. Not any good. You know what? I've not tilted my units again. I'm looking at them thinking, right, we need to know what's what. Okay, there we go. I'll get it right eventually, John. But I do like it anyway. So, so unit 6 we said was under 4 here. He's the same. He can't move the arrows. Right, unit 8. Yeah, he's adjacent to this guy, so no. Right, so unit 9 might, maybe. I don't think so though. So it's 1, 2, 3. Primary arrow wise, he would only get 3 movement. If he went 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, yeah, he's not able to get 4, is he? Even coming in here to start with is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he's only going to be able to get 3 movement and have to stop. So that's not any good. Unit next one is 15. No, I don't think so either. 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. 1, 2, stop. Yeah. 16 is not going to be able to move because he's going to go from zone of control to zone of control, no matter what arrow he chooses. And the last one is 24. 1, 2, stop. Yeah. Or 1, 2, stop. Yeah. They're just too close. This guy's just too close. If he was back a bit, then some of them might have been able to get moving a little bit. Right, fair enough. So on to movement method 11, move closest to front objective. So move to hex closer to the unit's front objective, not the same distance from the objective. And I'm going to look at the preferences just a little bit here rather than put cubes everywhere. So I've been getting the habit, I prefer the hex A, which is closest to the front objective, and then B is adjacent to the German occupied hex with the least strength, and C is empty hex. So there's 3 options there. So move to hex closer to the unit's front objective, not the same distance from it. Right, let's and we're doing this in ascending order as well. So let's right, where's the front objectives here? Should I just bring it up top? I'll put it underneath when I'm finished. Hopefully remember and not hide that second SS unit. Okay, so unit 1 is for... Right, I'll put some cubes out. I don't... Well, actually, he's going to be able to move one hex, isn't he? That's probably going to be about it, but the fact is, he's probably going to be moving adjacent to this, and this guy's in a whole lot of hurt, I think. Yeah, I'm afraid so. Okay, I actually think that's going to be his hex, because this is actually worked out 4 away, and he can move right round there. 1, he's not breaking zone of control, remember, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into here, and he's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Whereas these two hexes here, if he moved into them, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So that's the only hex he can reach. That's 4 away, I think. Yeah, it is. It is the only hex he can reach. It's going to be 4 away. So that's what he's going to do. So not breaking any restrictions, I don't believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into there. And he's 4 away. So we don't need to look at any preferences. He's not moving adjacent to a German unit, so we don't need to check 9.25. Yeah, okay, that's him. He's good. So next unit is selector number 3 here. So let's have a look. I just spent all that time finding all these 3 and then realised they could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into here and be 3 hexes away, because these are all 4 away. This one would be no overstacking actually, because it's a 3-step unit, but I just thought I'd mark on the show. But yeah, that's way closer, because they were all 4 away, and that hex would be 1, 2, 3 away. So that's where it's going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 into there. It's going to get messy, hang on. I put him in there, put that there, put that back there. Is that where he was? No. Damn. Was he there? Oh, if he was there, he's breaking zone of control. I maybe didn't count that. I should have marked the hex first. I can't remember. Well, somebody must have been adjacent to him, surely. Alright, give me a sec. Yeah, it was him that was adjacent. Right, let's get him back. Let's get him back. Do that one a lot. I mean, do we all do that a bit? Do we? Or is it just me? You know, forget about breaking zone of control. Well, as long as you catch them before you actually do your thing. Right, let me work that one out again then. Okay, yeah, it's going to be the same hex, isn't it? Why did I think he was a 3-step unit, Grant? Did I not just say he was a 3-step unit? And that he couldn't move round to that hex? I'm making things up, aren't I? Well, it doesn't matter, he's not getting round to that hex. That's as close as he can get. So, I mean, again, he could come in here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away, but he can get around there, 1, 2, 3, 4 away. That's his priority. Still not breaking any restrictions. Now, we've got to remember, one of the restrictions we've got to watch out for here is this guy is surrounded at the moment. So we can't allow him to become unsurrounded. So 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, 4, 5, and then in beside unit 1. And again, their first preference is to get as close as possible. So it's not that they want to try and be adjacent to a German unit. Well, sort of. Well, they would if it was a choice between this hex or this hex, then they would take this because it's adjacent to the German unit. But he didn't have the movement to do that. Like I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd be 7 for him to move. Now unit 8. Well, yeah, he might be breaking this around though. I think he is. Right, we'll see. We're jumping ahead there. So that's 2 of them move. That was 1 and 3. So next is unit 4 here. Okay, so I think that's unit 4's 2 options. I say here would be 1, 2, 3, 4 away, but both the hexes are only 3 away from the objective. Let's say there's no gap here, so this is as close as you can get. They are and we can't get into there. So it's these two hexes. So there's a choice of two this time. They're both as close away. So preference B is adjacent to German occupied hex with a wee strength. They're both going to be adjacent to the German unit with a wee strength. That's as close as possible that they can get to it. However, C is empty hex, so it's not going to be that one. The unit 4, as long as he's not breaking any restrictions. I don't believe he is. He's going to go there. Unit 6 is next. Yeah, well, he's going to have the choice of these two hexes as well, so he's not going to have the empty hex option. Hang on, Grant, hang on. 9.25, just a little look. So, hang on, just before we check Unit 6, 9.25 by hand, I mean, bear in mind he could only reach here or here. That would be adjacent to this unit. Hex would cause German unit to be surrounded, no. Support hex not adjacent to, yeah, okay. It's going to keep haunting us, isn't it? It's going to keep haunting us, whereas the preference took us to an empty hex within movement method 11. 9.25 D wants to be in a hex not adjacent to, it doesn't matter, right, it doesn't matter in this case, good, because this is adjacent to a Soviet unit and so would this have been. So in actual fact, well, what's the next? The next preference is an empty garrison hex, right, okay, so we've got that one right, that's fine. That's fine. It's alright when there's other units nearby, that's right, okay. So that's him. So again, like I say, Unit 6 would be next, and that has two choices. And this time he's not getting an empty hex. So yeah, so that we can't break it down, but preferences, this time we'll have to look at tiebreakers. Closest to unit's objective, empty hex, hex furthest in the compass direction, okay. So it's west, so it's going to be this hex. So he's going to come in here. We'll just put him on top just now because we do need to just double check. 9.25 again. Hex not adjacent to a Soviet unit. Well, they'd both be this again in the case. They'd both be adjacent. An empty garrison hex we cannot do. A hex not occupied by an active unit. Well, they're both occupied by active units, so he's just going to default to where his preference to come from the movement. Well, that was a tiebreaker that took him there. Okay, and then it's unit, that was 6, so 8 next. Yeah, 8 next. Right, he could be a little trickier. Right, I think he's maybe going to go there. It's because he's going to remove surround from the unit. This means obviously he can get further down. He can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can get way down to here or here. Well, he has the 3-step unit, so he couldn't go in there. But he could get down to here and be 3 away. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from his objective now. But if he moves away down here, right, from there, this unit's then not surrounded anymore because he can move into that hex. So that is a restriction that would be being broken. Just to check, cause a surrounded German unit to become no longer surrounded. It says it does not apply if the German unit is isolated or the moving unit is in a hex outside the current operational limit. Well, none of that applies. So he would be removing surround from that if he came around. However, he could go into this hex and be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One hex closer to his front objective and still keep this guy surrounded. Now could he? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't get in there and do it, can he? No, because the guy's going to have an out there. So I think that's where he's going to go. So that would be 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3 into there. And that way it keeps the unit surrounded and still gets him 1 hex closer. 9.25 is unlikely to be able to do anything about that, I think, because it's got to abide by 9.23 as well, the restrictions. Yeah, because make sure, however, that the unit's move conforms to the rules for movement and the restrictions of 9.23. That's 9.25 we're talking about. So I think this is the only hex he can go to. Yeah, because he started there, didn't he? So he's managed to get 1 hex closer. That's the best he can do. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that hex isn't closer. And okay, that would be, but again, that's removing the surround. Yeah, we need to keep a zone of control on this hex when we're doing the move, or... Okay, yeah, it feels like I'm not wanting to leave that one though, because it's just one of the ones where you think, okay, but I think it's right. Yes, reluctant to move on. Yeah, okay, I paused and thought about it a bit more, but I can't see any other option for him. As long as he is getting closer, he's going to make the move, and as long as he can keep that guy surrounded. Yeah. Okay, so Unit 9 would be next at infantry this time, so he will be able to get closer. Possibly in here, maybe adjacent, we shall see. Yeah, okay, well these were 1 hex closer, this was going to be 6 away. And he can't quite get round to here because he can't move through the zone of control. 1, 2, 3, 4, which would be 5 away as well. But these 3 are 5 hexes away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the other 2. So he's going to move to one of the 3. Yeah, my guess it's going to be this one because he's got 2 strength, isn't he? So they're as close as it gets. So it's going to be moved to German unit with a low strength, isn't it? Adjacent to German occupied hex with a least strength. So that's going to be this one, because these 2 are up against a 5 strength, and if he was adjacent here, he'd be up against a 2 strength. So 1, 2, and then 3 into there. So he's moved, he's not moved. He was up there, wasn't he? I'm going to take them away now. Could there might be an adjustment. It might actually end up back in this hex. Yeah, because being an... Oh no, but no, it won't, crap. Will it? Well, it might, hang on. So that's where our preferences took us, and it's preference B, adjacent to German occupied hex with a least strength, and he's obviously as close as he can get to his objective. 9.25 operational on that. Hex would cause German unit to become surrounded. Well, the unit's already surrounded, so no. Soviet support. Hex not adjacent to a Soviet unit. So he is adjacent to a Soviet unit there, he would be adjacent to a Soviet unit there, and he would be adjacent to a Soviet unit there. And they are, although they are not as close to their objective as that, remember, that doesn't matter now. It's trying to find the preferential hex adjacent to this, the target hex, the target German unit. And he clearly can't get into these 2 hexes. So it's between the 3, but each one of them are going to be adjacent to a Soviet unit. So we move on to the next one, which is an empty or garrisoned hex. So here we go. So that then means that he is going to adjust to one of these 2 hexes. Because Because he had the movement, he could go 1, 2 into there, he could go 1, 2, 3 into there. So he's wanting to prefer the empty hex. What's priority beyond that? A hex not occupied by an active unit. Well, obviously, if it's an empty hex, it's not going to be occupied by an active unit. So that's as far as we can go. Right, we were here before, weren't we? And you know, at first I wanted to like look back at tiebreakers, but I don't think that's where you should be going from here. But it might, but well, yeah, I just thought, why not read what tiebreakers says. 9.2, this is page 21, 9.24, movement method tiebreakers. If more than one destination hex meets the requirements and preferences of a given movement method. So this is just talking about a given movement method. Tactical preferences. It's not really a movement method, but then again, it's possible I've used tiebreakers outside movement methods before, possibly. Or are you just talking rubbish there, Grant? Possibly. Right, well, where would he go if we weren't looking at tiebreakers then? Well, he needs to go back to he needs to be as close as possible to his. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. So they're just as close. Back. And then it's adjacent. I mean, if I go through the preferences again, closest to the front objective, which this is movement method 11 again, I'm kind of like going back there to see if I should be doing that. Adjacent to German occupied hex with least strength, well, both of them are. And then C's empty hex, so I can't decide out of that. So I'm going to say you're going to have to look at tiebreakers then. Because there's nothing else I can do. I'm going to post a question on this, I think. It might be a stupid question. Possibly. Because I think the last time we had this situation, we defaulted to back at the movement method and picked the sort of best preference within that. Which I've just done there just now, but can't find any, so now I'm looking at tiebreakers, so I suppose. So tiebreakers would be closest to unit subject and marker, well obviously we're as close. An empty hex, yeah, they're both empty. The hex furthest in compass direction, so yeah, again, so it would be this one that you would adjust to then, going by that. Okay, so let's adjust them to that, but I am going to ask a question. Because that's came up twice now, and it'll be in a bit of my video footage already, but that's not to say somebody's just thought nothing of it. And sometimes you need to ask a question on BGG to stir it up a little bit. Okay, I'll be back shortly. I'll just be on pause. Okay, I went and posted the question. It took me a bit longer than I thought, because once I wrote it all down, I thought, is that going to be confusing? So I uploaded an image as well of this, just to see what people might think, where it might go. I get the feeling I'm going to get back, yeah, you just do tiebreakers, you know. But, you know, you've already checked tiebreakers after the movement method, maybe. Maybe you've not, of course. In this case, did we? Did we check tiebreakers? I don't know, but I mean, it feels like the process is, go through the movement methods, check your tiebreakers. If you're adjacent to a German unit, then look at, but maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't be looking at tiebreakers until, if we know we're adjacent to German unit, maybe then I should look at 9.25 and then look at tiebreakers. Okay, well, maybe a daft question, but you know, I've asked a few already anyway, so we're going to say that it's going to go there, because I think that's where it would tie break to. Yeah, between these two, this is westernmost, so we'll go with that one. Right, let's get this moving on. That's coming up for an hour, Grant. So who's next? That was 16. Oh. Right. Why did 15 not get moved first, Grant? I don't know. Yeah, okay, I've missed 15, haven't I? So that's 8, 9. Yeah, these have been moved, 4 and 6. Yeah, these are all. I mean, I would put them at the top if there's units underneath facing that way. I know it's a little bit tricky to this whole tilting system, but I think it might mess things up if I don't do something like that. That's, I don't know, maybe not. When you're activating the whole army, I would have them all, once they move, just going that way. But yeah, keep at it, Grant. So 15 then. Right, he can clearly get a little bit closer to his objective. So let me see where he might want to go. Right, I think this one is just this hex this time. Because that does get him 3 away. And that's as close as we can get. We cannot get into this hex. We could get there, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So we can't get into there. Can't quite reach there because 1, 2, 3, 4. He can get to there, but he can get to there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to get closer than that. So I'm going to move that guy down to there, leave that there, and I'm going to chuck this guy on top. Now we do need to check 9.25 again. However, he cannot. You know what? That's the only hex he can reach, so we don't even need to look at 9.25. Yeah, it's the only hex he can reach that would be adjacent to that German unit. So I don't think we need to look at that one in that case. Breaking restriction wise, no. There's nothing proximate to this town, which is the only thing to maybe look for there, that VP hex. But there's nothing, there's no gap through there for any German units to sneak in. So yeah, I think so. Right, we've got 2 to go. We've got 24 up there and we've got 26 down there. Not sure 26 is going to move, but you never know. But 24, yeah, he's going to get a bit closer. Yeah, I get the feeling he's only got that option as well. Now I had to check the hex, obviously. There's 4 steps in it though, so we're alright. He's only a 2-stepper. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. And yeah, that's as close as you can get. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 into that hex. You can't get down into this one. So yeah, so I think that's straightforward. 1, 2, 3, and beside his buddies here. Not moving adjacent to a German unit this time anyway, so don't need to check 9.25. No restrictions broken there. I mean, there's a VP hex up there, but nothing proximate to it, so all good there. So finally, unit 26. No, he's not. Well, he's not going to get closer, however. Right, hang on. Yeah, I just wondered there if you would check 9.25, but I think this is a case when you don't, because although we know that in movement method 12 it says a unit starting adjacent to a German unit does not move by this method, and 9.25 takes that into consideration by still the preferences apply to movement methods that calls for a unit starting adjacent to German unit to not move. So the fact that he can't get any closer and he's also adjacent to German unit initially got me thinking, well, he could maybe tactically adjust into this hex. He can't get into this hex, or this hex, or this hex. But he could stay where he is, or he could actually move to here. However, that's not closer, so he wouldn't be doing it with the movement method, but I thought, would he consider that with 9.25? But the movement method 11 doesn't say that if it's adjacent, if it's happy, it doesn't move. It doesn't say that. It just says move to hex closer to the unit's front objective, not the same distance from the objective. And it doesn't go into the fact that if it's already adjacent and can't get any closer, then consider it not to move. But whereas then 9.25 would kick in. So I don't think. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've not looked at the possibility of what hex you would pick. It could well be, to be honest, because this is Western. But that's the tiebreaker that checks that one, Well, anyway, I just think he doesn't move with that, and we don't look at 9.25. But please let me know if you think I've got that one wrong, or if you know I've got that one wrong. I'm going to say that he's not even going to look at 9.25. Well, we have a look just so that somebody does say, well, yeah, you should have looked at that, Grant. Because remember, it starts by telling you when ending a move adjacent to German unit. Well, this hasn't happened, and I know, and the ones that say that consider the unit to, it doesn't say consider it to have moved. That's going back to the enemy action or then it says that, well, move method 12 says a unit starting adjacent to German unit does not move by this method. However, it doesn't reference unless directed by 9.25 under it. But 11 doesn't talk about that, so I don't think it looks at it. But if it was to look at it, this is a quick look between the two hexes. Hex not adjacent to a Soviet unit, no. An empty hex, they're both got the units in it. Hex not occupied by that. Well, you know what, we'd go right through them and look for a tiebreaker. Well, this is a question I'm asking, I suppose. Once you've been through all the preferences in 9.25, where do you look? I mean, you know, it could just be, like I say, my post said, is it just straightforward that you look tiebreakers? If it was tiebreakers though, in actual fact, and if he was allowed to adjust, he would adjust into there because it's further west. So there you have it, but I don't think he does, but let me know your thoughts. And if it does come up again and start causing trouble, that one, we might try and find out a bit more about it. Right, okay, well, we've still got one unit to move. Oh, we're at 1 hour and 7 minutes. We're going to have combat here and maybe here as well, aren't we? So a bit to go yet. Right, we'll keep moving, Grant. So that was movement method 11, finished. So 12 is strength and potential attack. We've only got this one unit to look at, 26. If not adjacent to a German unit, well, he is. Move to a hex adjacent to German unit. Well, he's going to adjust for this, isn't he? So if not adjacent, move to a hex adjacent to German unit to which another active Soviet unit is also adjacent. However, he is adjacent to a German unit. A unit starting adjacent to a German unit does not move by this method. Well, there you go. So now I'm going to adjust with 9.25, and I'm going to go right through all the preferences. There's no point looking at it because I've just done it. And I'm going to find no outcome. So, you know, yeah, it's not surrounding, support's not a problem, hex not adjacent to Soviet unit, they both are. And bearing in mind, it's only these two hexes he could move to. Yeah, because it does say apply to movement methods that calls for a Soviet unit starting adjacent to a German unit to not move. So it is allowing you to adjust. If you've got, I need to have the movement, I need to not break restrictions. That's fine. So finishing an empty or garrison hex, both the hexes have a unit in them. And then a hex not occupied by an active unit. Well, they're both active units in the hexes. So again, I'm at that bit where I don't know. I can only go to tiebreakers, and tiebreakers are going to take us to closest to the unit's objective. They're both as close, aren't they? An empty hex, no hex furthest in the compass direction, which is going to be here. So okay, so I'm going to adjust him. So he's going to move out 1, 2 out and in, 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and 3 back in. It's maybe not too big a deal, but yeah, I would like to know if I don't know how you would decide that otherwise, though. You know, and maybe that's what turns my question into a daft question, because you clearly have to tie break if you get to that position. I mean, that's what we got. That's where we got to there. There's no other place I could have. Well, the only one, the thing I added to my question was, if you do that, do you just backtrack to where the unit started from? You know, as in where it ended up with the movement method, and you don't adjust at all. That's a possibility. You know, if that was the case, this unit wouldn't have moved here. It would have actually moved here, was it? Because he's closer to the objective. So it's a possibility somebody might come back and say that no, you should just go back to, you then ignore 9.25 and go back to where your original movement method preferenced or tie break the unit to end up on, and that would have been that hex for that unit, I think. Okay, right, we've got our everything moved. Right, let's move on to combat then. Okay, so attack checks. Let's zoom in a little bit. We've got these 2 units to consider attack checks on. They're the only 2 German units that we've got third tank units adjacent. We're going to do this in ascending order. The smallest one they've got around that's an 8, but there's a 4 here. So we're going to do this one first. So the 4 is going to be the lead unit. Checking attacks here. Now we don't have reserve units. So we have a strength of 2, 5, 9, 12. 12 against 3. Oops. 12 against 3. There's not any. I don't think there's any pluses to the unit as a pre-position. He's not adjacent. Yeah, so it's 12 against 3. We'll have no auxiliary card as well, so no reserves, no auxiliary card. 12 against 3 is 4 to 1, so yes, it's a go. Because it's above 3 to 1, we don't need to go through the tactical value check. We just need to go straight to combat. Oh goody. Right, so we attack, add reserves, and then we draw a combat. Well, we need to check overwhelming attack, but that's not going to be the case here. Right, let me adjust things a little bit and try and find a better position for things. Okay, the map's starting to fill up a little bit to squeeze things in, but not that you really need to see the card. I like somewhere to put the dice, and then it's a reminder of, I mean, not that we know it's third tank against, you know, this guy. So this is the attack, and this is the hex we're attacking. So it's straight up 12 to 3. So we've got 4 to 1 odds. And there we are. We've got 4 to 1 odds. Now chip pools are 1, and then just all 1 or 2 step units here. So 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are outside the artillery barrage line. There's the line there. So no addition to that. So that's 4 to 1 with 4 chip pools. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 to 3, 4 to 1. Yeah, I've got to, I just doubt myself sometimes when I'm adding simple numbers up. Okay, so 4 to 1 odds, 4 chip pools. Right, we're going to, well, it's not an overwhelming attack, so we're going to draw a combat tactic. So here we go. Right, well, we've got artillery, and this is going to be a reuse, so it's going to shuffle back in again. They do shuffle some cards back in, don't they? Right, I'll just leave this here though, just as an added reminder that we have artillery in the battle. That does increase our chip pools to 5, so 4 to 1 odds with 5 chip pools. They have artillery, they have armour, we are on infantry, we're in a clear hex, so there we are. Right, and do we want to play a card? Probably not. We've got air power combat engineers. It's yeah. I don't, but a nice result would be D1 and just retreat across that river, wouldn't it? Or possibly even if it was D2, I'd get back into the town. 5 chip pools, 4 to 1 though. I've got combat engineers. There's a temptation. I mean, that's a card that's got engineers on it, so you know we could put 3 IPs on that when next turn. That was probably what our plan was, but I could give this guy a better shot at survival. I think we take our chances, don't we? I mean, 5 chip pools. As long as the worst we get is, well, even D3 isn't elimination, so D4 is elimination, obviously, but okay, we're going to take our chances because we've only got 2 cards left, and this is getting shuffled in again, so it's like they're going to have another, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 impulses, I don't know, maybe not, maybe just 3. Okay, just going to go for it, Grant. Yeah, let's do it. I'll try and squeeze the chips in the middle there. So, yeah, 41, 5 chip pools, right? I'll go and get the 5 chip pools. Yeah, not a good start. That was NKVD on the front, and I got that chip quite recently, and I remember that being A1, D1 on the back. Yeah, 3-1 odds. Not what we wanted for the first chat, but okay, keep going. Okay, that one didn't apply, so good. It was 8-1 or defender not supported on the front, so. Ouch, artillery. And they got it from the combat tactics as well. Right, that's a refresh chat, so there's quite a lot going back into the cup actually. And obviously these are all going to refresh now at the end of the combat. So sitting at D2, yeah, not good. I mean, I don't know where we can get a D-1 from. We've not got a defender adjacent, so we're hanging on to the hope that they just draw no more, really. But 2 to come. Well, initially I was annoyed when I seen that, but I'll tell you what, I'm not too fussed about that. I mean, okay, we had a hit on them, but I'd sooner see A-1 than D1 there. So 1 to come, and we should be still surviving this, just. Ouch. City or attack not supported on the front side. I thought, oh no, it's going to be a clear. I mean, I suppose we're getting a hit on him as well, but nah. We are surviving though, aren't we? Yeah, we're losing a step though, aren't we? Losing a step, dispersed. Yeah. So that was 41 odds, 5 chip pools, that's all the chits. So our result is D3 and A1. Yeah, so forgot to take the chits away. These are all going to shuffle back into the cup as well. So D3 and A1. Yeah, so retreat, step, disperse, step loss. That's the best we're getting in it. Well, I need to move that card and make some space. Right, we're done with this, and this gets shuffled in as well. Yeah, I can't. It's just a lot of shuffling the cards back in, isn't there? That command, what is it? Command delay, or whatever it is. And then lots of these reuse combat tactics. Yeah, remember, if there's 3 or fewer cards, Grant, it doesn't shuffle back in. We're alright there. I had a moment there, but 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 cards, so there would have been 5 cards in the deck still. Yeah, but remember that one, Grant. Don't like keep shuffling back in. There's only like 2 cards left. Right, so yeah, I'm just going back into the town, I'm gonna. Because I can't stop there, obviously. Oh yeah, I forgot that guy's in there. See, that was that. I'm putting that front objective marker on top, and I was thinking, ooh, this is a bit exposed. If this guy gets eliminated, they're pushing on. I forgot about that. Put that underneath now. Damn. Does that change anything? Not really, I don't think. I mean, I could retreat to here, or even here. I think that's a bit silly. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I could retreat to here, here, or here. I mean, that would have been nice just to have step, even if I did lose a step. No, but you wouldn't have lost a step, Grant. That would have been a D1 result though, to get that, wouldn't it? Okay, so first retreat is across the river, obviously. So that takes us down to 2. Now, thing is, if I go in the town, I'm going to get dispersed, which does have an effect on the unit in the town. It means he can only retreat 1 hex if he was attacked. Now, this disperse on this unit is it's going to be on it for the rest of the turn. And like I say about more impulses to come, these third tank units are going to advance maybe 2 hexes. So they're going to be adjacent to, we do need to maybe avoid that. So I think it might be better retreating there for a second hex. Rather than put the whole dispersed unit in the town to obviously I'm not going to want to retreat this guy out though. Well, there is that. I was almost about to change my mind and put him in there after all, but I just noticed that if I did retreat him into there, we would have a gap here. Whereas at least if he's there, there's no gap. Because, well, I say there's a gap, there is a gap, but, this guy's in a whole lot of trouble, I think. So I think I might just leave it there. Because I did think, why not just put him in the town, he's safer. And it's not that he benefits from being adjacent because he's dispersed. And I think that doesn't count. I think the unit needs to be undispersed to be able to get the benefits. And it might also draw the third tank to this guy rather than this and create another little speed bump. That sounds not nice, but right, going to go with that. So that would be his second retreat, second hit, and his third hit is taking the step loss, so that satisfies the other 2. And obviously he also gets a disperse muffin. And yes, and there was no unfulfilled hits though. That was good. Forgot to turn these guys again. I know what I'm doing, but if you're going to do it, then do it, Grant. Okay. So, well, they need to take a hit, don't they? Good. And they will take the first hit, and that will be to the unit with the most steps and the highest selector number. So I think they're all 2-steppers. Apart from this one's a 1, isn't it? Yeah, so it's between these 3, and highest number is the infantry, 15 here. So he's the one that takes a step loss in 1006. He takes a step loss. Right, now we've got, after the combat took place and the path of retreat was into here and then into here. That's him satisfied with step loss. He's hit even. Right, so unit 4, advance after combat. What we got in here? So it's not the forward arrow, it's not a VP hex, it's not the primary direction, it's not enabling supply, no. Across the river, no. Secondary direction, it's not. Yeah, we're moving on again actually. So it will be causing surround, no. Closer to objective, ways 1, 2, 3 away. Well, yeah, it would be. Yeah, because it's going to be 2 away. So, yeah, it's the attack tag, so it would go there anyway. So it's going to advance on a 1 to 7. A 9 again. We rolled 9s for these guys the last time, didn't we? In fact, we rolled 2 9s. So let's put him down the bottom. He's been checked for advance. So next unit 6, he's going to advance on a 1 to 7. He rolls a 5. Okay, so we get this guy moving, and then he can also advance the second hex. So that's his primary arrow. That's his secondary arrow. So his second hex is going to check the one that's the highest chance. So he's going to go primary direction, which is an auto advance. I mean, secondary direction is an auto advance too, but because the first one that applies is going to be primary direction, so he's going to auto advance into there, and that's him done. I suppose he's on the road coming down there, and then 26 would be next, infantry. He's going to advance on a 1 to 7 then. That's an 8, so he's not. And then I'll put him. Oops, I'll put him back down the bottom again. So all they three have had a shot at advancing. And now he's got a secondary arrow, which is that's an auto advance. Secondary direction is an auto advance, yeah. So he will go there. And then just the advance restrictions, there's not many of them as well. Those don't cause proximity. Yeah, there's not a lot to look at there. I'm actually finding some I'm finding the rules a bit easier at the moment. I'm finding things a bit easier. Restriction wise, the Soviets so dangerous around, it was everywhere, and it was really kind of tough. I mean, maybe some things will start kicking in, so maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself, but I don't know. Okay, I've still made some mistakes, but yeah, okay, let's move on, Grant, because you're creeping up on an hour and a half now. So yeah, and he was infantry, so can't advance the second hex. They got the chance to advance. Right, we're done with that attack. Okay, so let's look at this attack check. Okay, back to attack check. Where is it? Here. Oh yeah, this looks like it's going as well, doesn't it? Because he's only a 2, and he's surrounded, and yeah, he's in a whole lot of heart, I think. So Unit 8 is a lead unit. We're checking. We've got 4, 8, 11 against 2. We have no reserves again. We've no auxiliary card. So 4, 8, 11 against 2. He's not going to get any bonuses to that. And 11 against 2 is no, it's not, Grant. It's 5 to 1. It's 5 to 1. I was about to say 6 to 1. You think I've never been at school, eh? Okay. 11 to... Yeah, so 5 to 1 odds. Well, right, sorry, I'm putting dice up there, but 5 to 1 is greater than 3 to 1, so it's a go. We're going. We're attacking. Yeah. And now I think you can put your 5 up because nothing more's going to change. Step 1, with no reserves. So we do need to check, we're not going to have overwhelming, but 1, 2, he's in the barrage zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, because he's a 3-step unit. 1 for being in the barrage zone is 5 then. So 5 to 1 odds, 5 chip pools. That's not overwhelming though. Yeah, that's not overwhelming. So they get to draw a combat tactic. Hopefully one that doesn't shuffle back in. Hooray! Okay, well that's quite good to get out of the way actually. Pop of units card. Yeah, you can have your combat engineers. So combat engineers for them. That's not going to shuffle in. So let's just double check. Combat engineers. German, not Soviet. Combat engineers. On the attack, the defender's hex has an IP marker. Remove it prior to resolving combat. No, if no IP is present and the defender is not in a town or city, instead increase the attacker strength by 2. It's not in a town or city, so they get to increase from 11 to 13 now. 4, 8, 11. So 13 against 2 turns that into a 6 to 1. And also adds another chip pool for the combat engineers. I'm just checking if there's anything else. Yeah, the defender can't play the combat engineer's combat tactic in his combat. Funnily enough, I do have that in my hand, but no, I've given up on that guy, I'm afraid. I'm afraid you're on your own, pal. Sorry. So I'll keep the card there because there's chip pools that you can draw combat engineers, so just in case we draw one of them. And Well, that's it, isn't it? What are we doing? Yeah, I've moved the thing. Draw Soviet card with no auxiliary card. Play German cards, I'm not playing them. Right, combat tactic. 6-1 odds. We've got armour. We've got armour, but we're surrounded. And our first retreat is going to take a step. In fact, our first retreat is going to kill us. Oh dear. D1's going to kill us. What chance have we got here? None, probably. Right, I'll go and get 6 chits. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is just going to be a quick death. D2 already. That doesn't apply. Wood's broken. Disperse unsupplied on the other side. Yeah, he has artillery. It's an A-1 though. Another D1 for 41. Oops, right. Attack a command 3, 4, or 5, and it's just off camera in there. It's a 3. I'm going to have to move this along a bit. Not that we really need to carry on with this, to be honest, but well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, I've only got 1 to go. Right, okay. Okay, that one didn't apply. It's attack a command 5, disperse unsupplied on the other, on the back side. So yeah, it was, yeah, we were never getting out of that one really. So D4 and then no hits to them. That's 6 chits drawn. I'll chuck this card away. At least we're getting to put that in the discard pile, which is nice. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, D4 is the result. Yeah, so D4, but I don't need to. My first retreat kills me, because wherever I go, I've got to take a step off. So this guy's gone. And yeah, plenty overwhelming. Sorry. What was that? Anyway, they didn't take hits. I'm trying to think of the word there. So that's where the combat was. Hang on a sec. Just. Put a keep for now. Oh no, they're Soviets, Grant. They want the red. I know, it doesn't really matter, does it? Right, so no path of retreat this time, but they can still 2x advance, and they look like they're going to have the freedom to do that. So Unit 8, advance after combat in his primary direction. So yes, he's going to auto advance in that hex, so I think we really need that. Right, auto advance into there. Now you can advance the second hex. I did not turn these guys round again. Yeah, it's just not working for me, is it? Well, I still know what I'm doing. I'm not getting confused, so I suppose I think like I said there, if it's the whole army, if it's every unit of one army you're activating, you're going to be able to follow it easy enough. It's only when these camp group and units cards come into it, really. Right, so second hex advance, so he can go primary direction again is going to be the auto advance. That's his first one that would apply. So yeah, so again he's going to auto advance into there. And then we've got right, I'm just forgetting. It was this guy that was surrounding them. Was he in there? No. Yeah, you're advancing the wrong unit as well, Grant. What are you doing? What did I do there? Oh, now I'm confused. Hang on, was the combat in here? It was, wasn't it? This unit was here, and I'm like... I think the combat was in here, wasn't it? And I've just got muddled up there. Right, give me a sec. No, I'm not going to be able to go back and look at this until I take the video off. I'm pretty sure this guy advanced into here, didn't he? And then what I've done is I've then looked at this, thinking that it was this for a second hex advance and moved them there. Is that right? Well, you know what? We're going to go with that. So that would mean that his second hex advance would be down here. Now he's got a wee V there, but that's only a secondary. This arrow's not got a V or anything on it. I mean, they're Vorne's front. I don't think that means it's forcing him to go that way, because he can still go his primary. Whereas these two are primary, that's a primary V and a primary S. So I couldn't go that way, but I could go that way. However, second hex advance, he does go down to there. I think that was right. Yeah, because we had them surrounded, didn't we? This is where we started. So advance, advance. This is the combat hex. If I'd just left that cube in there, maybe I would have been... Oh, but I know. Right, so can he advance into here? Well, he's not got... It's not VP, it's not primary, it's not enabling supply, it's not crucial, it's not secondary, it's not a second hex advance. So it's not causing surround, it's closer, it's not closer to objective, but it is the attacked hex, so he will advance on a 1 to 7. He just rolled a 9. I'm getting sort of a lot of 9s just now. So he's not advancing. The infantry is something similar. He's not got... It's going to be closer to his objective. And it's attacked hex. So it's a 1 to 7 as well. He rolls a 1. Right, so the infantry will advance, and then obviously being infantry, you can only advance 1 hex. Right, I think that was right. I'll watch back in the video footage at the end and pause and make sure that I did get that right. I think I was. I took my eye off things and yeah, whatever. Okay, so that's the 2 combats all done, and we've nothing more to do, have we? All the units did something. They all moved. They're not building IPs yet anyway, so... And we're not at the stage of bouncing units back into the reserve units box, which that'll bring in some more. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the complexity of things being a bit easier at the moment. We've maybe not kicked into some of the rules, you know, bouncing units back to reserves and things like that. It's going to come into that soon as well. Well, that wasn't too bad. It's one... it's just over an hour and a half. It's not too bad. They do seem to be a bit longer. I think before I was cutting things a bit sooner, and then breaking it up a bit, but I don't mind an hour and a half. You know, whether that's better for people watching or no, I don't know. So that's that card done. Right, they've only got, let's just check how many they've got. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've still got 5 cards, to be honest, so they've still got plenty. Right, okay, I'm going to get away for now, get this uploaded. I'm going to have to take a bit of a break, and I think I might need to try and find a bulb that light. This kind of looks quite dark across here. It does on my camera, but I mentioned it last night, and it was okay across this side, because this is where the lamp's coming in from. But that other lamp, the bulb went. I'm not sure if I've got another bulb, so... Okay, yeah, actually, give me a sec. Yeah, I just thought I'd have a quick look, see if I got a response to that question, and Martin's come and answered. He says move straight to tiebreakers, but he's got a bit of description on how to go through it. I didn't sort of sit and study it, because it's a wee bit, it's something I need to sit and look at. He did say the unit would ended up in 0705. Yeah, it was him, wasn't it? That's where he just advanced from. So I think we got it right. We did get it right, and that was with tiebreakers, because it was westernmost, wasn't it? So, yeah, I mean, tiebreakers must have to come into it. But there's a wee bit more to read on that if you want to go and check out Martin's response. He's also got... He said something about yeah, I'll need to read it and whatever. Okay, I'll get away for now, and I'll be back with... is this part 9? This is part 9, so it'll be part 10. Okay, into double figures already. Right, I'll be back soon, guys. Cheers.